What is up, everybody? Sinestro here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Withered army training scenario that is available in Suramar every 2 to 3 days. Now, this scenario is one of the main ways that you get reputation with the Nightfallen faction, which is super important for getting the Archway and Court of Stars dungeons, as well as completing the campaign and getting a shit ton of artifact power. So what is the scenario? You lead a group of Withered through Falanar, the ruins, in order to see how far you can get on a points-based system and to retrieve items from that scenario. So the more it all works off the currency Ancient Mana, which is something you get in Suramar, which I'm sure you're all aware of. The more mana you put in, the more Withered you start with. I, for example, put 2,000 in, so I start with 20 Withered. I also get some upgraded Withered because I've done the scenario a couple of times, and by retrieving chests from the scenario, you get upgrades like damage, health, berserkers, casters, all sorts of things. If you've probably done this a couple of times if you're looking for a guide. So what I assume that you know the basics of it. You need to get chests out, and you're here to get to a sort of like score. For the most reputation in a run, you need to get a minimum of 425 points, and you can extract. There's 10 there's 10 withered chests, 5 withered chests, and just normal chests that you can pick up. Every time you remove a chest, you lose that amount of withered from your army, and your army is trapped with a buff that you can see in the top right. At the moment, I currently have 21. There's doors in here that you can only open if you have certain amounts of withered, and there's bosses and all sorts of stuff. You probably have a general gist. Now, as a caster, this place is a bit of a dick, and as for me as a Shadow Priest, especially someone that doesn't have a lot of like on-demand burst, it was a real challenge. In fact, this run is the first time that I actually completed the whole thing. Now, I know some people will have done this already, but if you are struggling, this guide will kind of show you like just like any tips and tricks that I know, especially as a Shadow Priest, as to how to get this done. Now, we can see here we're facing up one of the first boss, which is this sort of like dryad person. She does a big AoE pulse that you need to make sure that you're moving out of. So berserk your army with your extra action button. Run yourself the hell away from the withered army so that the AoE that she casts on you doesn't hit any withered, and then she's pretty much easy. Make sure that you're collecting any withered as you go around as well, so that you're sort of like increasing your army size. And just take your time. That's the most key thing about this whole thing. The biggest piece of advice I can give you about this place in total is take your damn time. This run where I completed it took me 40 minutes, and I took my time and I waited and I was patient and things like that. And that's the best piece of advice I can give you for this whole thing. Now, this room that we're coming into now is an asshole. If you're a Death Knight or something like that, you probably have no problem because you can grip stuff to you. As a Shadow Priest, I have to get to stuff and try and get the army away from the edge so they don't get knocked back by any abilities. And as you can see, coming into these side rooms gets a bit hectic because I can't interrupt everything. Interrupting and stunning is super important on a lot of these mobs because they do AoE pulses and knockbacks and stuff that are just going to fuck you withered up by chucking them off ledges and pulling loads of stuff. Really, really not cool. So just be careful. Take your time. Get into positions where you're not going to get your withered knocked off edges and you'll all be golden. Now, we're coming up to the real asshole of this entire place, which is Drow, like Lawwalker Drow, or whatever his name is, or like Laywalker Drow. He's a dick. He's the guy that killed me. He's killed me like 4 times in the first 4 times I did this scenario. I hate him. He's an asshole. If you don't have Lust, get some Drums of War, and literally just take them with you for Drow. And literally the best piece of advice I can get you is try and be as careful as possible when going into the next section. So we're coming into the place where Drow can spawn now. Now, there's an audio cue where Theresa, the woman who sends you in here, says, "Watch out!" When you hear that "watch out," Drow's coming, baby, and you need to be ready for him. So just be careful. And you can see here, Drow just turned up. I crapped my pants, I popped Lust, I popped all my cooldown, and I faded onto my Withered. Now, I didn't actually berserk my Withered here, which was really bad, because I lost them a lot of health. But I panicked, and I kited like a boss, and I just stayed away from him, and I killed him. But realistically, make sure you berserk your Withered on Drow and everything. Now, I was quite lucky because I actually got him quite early on, which meant that, like, because I did that, everything from here on was kind of breezy. And you can see I'm at 158 points already, so now I can just kind of take my time and work my way through this place. When Drow dies, he gives you a key, which unlocks the section which you need to progress further than this area that we're in right now. So once you've done that, everything's kind of easy from here on out. There's a couple of bosses which we'll talk about in a minute, but you don't have anything to worry about once you've killed Drow, especially as a caster. You're kind of golden. So just focus on sort of like slowly working your way through things. Now these arcane guys, these are a bit of a dick, so try and only pull one of these at a time, because they do have knockback and they have a big AoE pulse damage. So berserk, I berserk these guys just to burst that guy down. So make sure you're getting withered. Everything is gravy from here on out, guys, honest to God. Open doors as well. Like, as soon as if you have the wither to open a door, open the door. You don't necessarily have to go in there as soon as you go in there, but just open the door just in case anything monstrous happens and you can go in and get some more withered or get some more points and things like that. Always open doors. So you can see here I'm collecting there. There's a spider boss there, which we'll come back to, but we're just sort of like making our way through the instance at the moment and just killing more and more trash, trying to get our base score up just so that we know that we're definitely going to get to that 425 for the most amount of rep. Because that's the really important thing. That's the thing that you're really in here for. Sure, it drops some loot. There's the chance of legendaries and things like that. It's a very low chance of legendaries from here. But the main thing is making sure you're getting that Nightfall and rep to get yourself into the dungeons and to progress that campaign. So you can see here I opened the key to Dro's doors, and then we can go down to the next section if we want. But we're not going to go down there just yet. We're just going to finish up this entire upstairs zone, kill all the bosses up here, so that we can really sort of like get as much far as we can. Now, with regards to taking chests out, I recommend not taking a chest out as soon as you see it. You can always sort of like get to a point, like if you're taking this slowly, there should never be a point in which you're like completely fucked. Dro is like the big disaster point, so if you can get past Dro, you have all the time in the world to sort of like pick your moment to take chests out. So just build your armory up to as monstrous a size as you can, just so that you can easily get through bosses and sort of like take everything down, because the more withered you have, the easier everything gets. And like, why would you not just zerg everything if you can absolutely zerg everything? So you can see we're just clearing through this section here. Like if you like the little like webs areas, like sometimes like they have a chance of containing either a wither that you can sort of like capture or just like an enemy husk. So you just sort of like take your chances, take them out, get what you can withered wise, build your army up as big as possible. The more stuff you're killing, the more stuff that the more points you're getting, the quicker you can get to that rep point. Because as soon as you're at that rep point, it's just like, hey, I'm just going to get chests out now. If that's what you're bothered about, or if you want to carry on and push through and complete the thing, you know, you can sort of like do that as well. But we're pretty much done with this section, and then we're going to start thinking about going to some of the bosses in just a second. So there's 2 more bosses remaining on this tier. There is the spider boss, and there is the big arcane elemental boss. The arcane elemental boss is scary because he's a huge version of the arcane elementals that you fight anyway. So interrupting him is key. Moving away from your withered as well is key. I had a bit of a panic on this guy, as you'll see in a minute, and everything kind of went a little bit Pete-tong, but we muddled through. I thought it was going to be all over, and we actually made it through. But I decided that I want to go for the spider boss first. So what this spider boss does, she spawns loads of little spiders that you kind of need to avoid, and she also does a frontal cleave, so just make sure that you're trying to turn around. Now, for some reason, I struggled to get aggro at the little beginning, so I actually lost a little bit of health on my withered, which wasn't great, but you can see she kind of goes down like a sack of shit once, because I've got freaking 33 withered. So it's like, as if you're rolling with an army this big, like, you're pretty much like safe. I don't know where this stuff came from, actually. It just really randomly appeared, but I wasn't really complaining because it's just extra score. But as I said, if you're starting with a 20 plus army, then like you're in a really, really good state. Now this room is a little bit dangerous because there is a tendency to overpull. So just take your time, pull things as safe as you can. You see that wither just ran off there. Now, I didn't want to just run in and just get him, because like I didn't want to risk pulling the boss before I was ready. So I decided instead to let's let that one go and just take what I could. Now you can see there's the stuff at the back. There's lots of spiders, and that's pretty freaking scary. But if you just tag the boss here, you can actually pull him forward, berserk your ads, and then don't do what I do and stand in the middle of all your fucking withered. Because the only reason I did that quickly was because I had so many of them. If I'd have had less there, that would have been a real problem. So make sure that you sort of like berserk your withered, you run away, things like that, get out of range so that you don't get like splash AoE on and like kill any like your withered army. It's not great. I'm lucky that I've already got the upgrades out a couple of times, so my withered actually a bit stronger than like the average withered. But like if you're doing this for the first couple of times, don't be that ballsy, because it won't pay off for you. But now you can see here we've actually completed everything on the top tier. Now the only thing we didn't do is in that room that I said was a dick with like the balconies with the knockoffs. I didn't go downstairs, but that's because I have actually already got the chest from down there, so there was no point in me going down there, and I knew I could achieve the 425 score by going through this. But now we start going down to the slightly more dangerous area of the downstairs, where there is the last sort of like 3 bosses. So this door doesn't actually open at the beginning. It actually only opens once you beat this little boss, the second spider boss in here. She's very similar in tactics to the other one. There's lots of spiders in here that you can kill. Like there's these eggs that you can kind of like tag up. They spawn a lot of mobs. They don't give you a lot of score, but I just killed everything anyway, just to be thorough. Don't overpull these spiders because they do actually do a decent chunk of damage to you. Because obviously if you die in here, then obviously that's it. That's game over. So be careful about that. But if you're eating food and like managing your self-healing and like things like that, then you should be fine, because pretty much everybody now has a way to look after themselves. Like if you don't, bandages, first aid, make sure you've got that shit before you come in here. But there's no real class, I think, that can't sort of like top their health up in some way while doing things. But you can see here that it's not very interesting, but I'm just methodically taking out all of the eggs and just clearing up here so that I can come back and get this chest later, because that is important that I get this chest out, because this is the first time that I've actually successfully managed to, well, it's the second time I managed to kill Dro, but the first time I managed to get through down to this room, because the first time I killed Dro, everything kind of went panicky, and I was just like, oh shit, and then I just took all the chests upstairs before I came down here. But this time around, I came down with a big army, so I was ready to fuck shit up down here and make everything my bitch. And I did, which I was really happy about. Like I was the most obnoxious son of a bitch in guild chat once I did this. It's just like, oh my god, guys, I finally did it, because like some of our casters, like our mages and our like healing priests and things like that, have been having a real problem with Dro, and it was finally really nice for one of us to kind of like get a win, and hopefully like the rest of my guild guys get a win in the next couple of times they do it as well, because it feels really great, because like this is one of those little like nice solo challenges that you do well. Now coming up to Elfbreaker here, this guy's an asshole, right? He's a big old Etin, and he's called the Elfbreaker for a reason. He's gonna smash your guys up, all right? So Lust is really good here. If you've got Lust, pop that Berserk and just nuke the crap out of him, because Jesus Christ, he does a lot of damage. Like you can see here, I have 40 Withered. That's the first time I engaged him. He does that huge AoE thing. Jesus Christ, that's bad. So make sure you're careful about that, all right? Once that's done, you're now in the realm of constant spiders. Like the spiders that are coming down that staircase to the back, they don't stop, guys. So like you just need to keep moving up to the very last boss in this instance, which is a big old like tarantula spider, right? So this is the riskiest point of the thing, like because I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just like, oh crap, and like you can see my health was getting low, and I was like started to panic about like not being able to complete it, because I knew I was close. I was like, oh my god, I'm so close to this thing. So you get up this first staircase and everything starts to get a bit dodgy, and like it gets really scary, but just kind of like pull through, like pull everything through, pop cooldowns, things like that, like keep yourself healed up, like try to stop and get the Withered if you can, just to top your army up, because you can see here I've lost quite a few. I'm down to 30, I'm from 40 to 33 now. But oh god, I came so close to dying there. Pop Berserk if you're really struggling, obviously, so that your guys like just take out the spiders. Get more Withered. Get up this last little staircase. Like decide that you're not going to be a bitch anymore and just run. Get up there, your Withered will follow you. All the spiders will stop spawning as well, so your Withered army will catch you up. You nearly die to the spider, fade onto your guys. Pop that Berserk button, nuke down this big spider bitch, and then you're pretty much done. That's it, guys. There's a couple more mobs left, and then you sort of like end up seeing the guy at the end, which you'll see in a minute. I was like, oh god. And I was like, I didn't know what's left to do. I kind of like walked up and killed these like mana worms. I was like, okay, so is the next boss like a giant mana worm or something like that? Like, oh god, what is it? But then there he is, look, there's the last guy. You made it, and that's it, guys. That's the completed scenario. So like the rest of this video is just me running back and picking up chests, but that's pretty much it, guys. Like, take your time. Really don't try not to panic. That's the worst thing in this place, is just like don't like panic and overpull stuff that you don't need to. Just work your way through things methodically, get all the chests you absolutely can, and you're pretty much golden good to go, and you'll get yourself a load of upgrades. Now, there's only one boss that we actually didn't do in this video, which is the bird door when you go down the original set of stairs into like the lower area. There's a door on the right that you need 2 berserkers to open. I only just get my 2 berserkers on completion of this run. So like I will do that one next time, and if it's actually a real challenge, then I'll put a video up to show you guys, but I presume at that point it won't be. But just take your time, get all the chests out, get all that Nightfall and reps so you can get into those Suramar dungeons, and it's easy. But now that's kind of done, guys. I just want to have a quick chat about the channel. I am feeling the love right now. Thank you so much to everyone who's new here, who's coming to watch all of the videos. I really appreciate it. You guys are amazing. You're making, like, I never really knew that the channel, a couple of months ago we had like 100, well, if that, probably like 80 subscribers and like hardly any video views, and like I put all this Legion content out and you guys absolutely seem to love it, and I'm so grateful to you all, because like I couldn't do this without you, and I'm just so glad that like the stuff I'm making is useful and you guys are actually enjoying it. It means so much. Like, I'm really humbled by how generous you guys have been, and sort of like how supportive, and all the lovely comments and things like that. And I just wanted to have a quick chat about like what we're going to do for the future. So like, you guys all seem to want Emerald Nightmare like guides, so they're coming. You'll get my kill videos, and you'll also get like, you get kill videos from my guild. Plus you also get a commentated version of each fight. So I will commentate every single boss fight on probably normal. I'll probably do normal and heroic together, and then mythic. So you'll get guides from me. I hope they're going to find them useful, guys. But for now, that's this video over. I love you all so much. Thank you for watching. I've been Sinestra, and I'll catch you next time. Peace!